How is it? We're good? Yeah? Okay, good. All right.
This is where we usually meet throughout the day. After my classes, I try to come here and talk to him about. I was 16 and I was playing a final game of my under 16 Croatian national championship game.
Bruno skokna jedan od najboljih igrača.
And at that game was one person whose name is Nenad Jukic, and he is professor of information systems here at Loyola and has been a professor for last 20 years or something.
Ali nije mogao osigurati zlato. Sad je odmah i uzeo loptu. To su njegovi...
The way I ended up at that game, one of my closest friends said, right here in our neighborhood, there's a national final of the national
Under
16 championship. And one kid is son of my good friends. And I said, oh, I like basketball, I like sports, so we literally just walked there, after 5 minutes. And I noticed, like, wow, this kid is really good. And I always keep Loyola in my mind. I always if I ever met a kid, I would tell them to come to Loyola. So I remember meeting his parents and telling them they knew nothing about college basketball. They knew nothing about recruiting. So I explained to them what is college basketball, that you go to school and then you get a degree while playing basketball. And then I explained quite a few foreign players came to America to play college basketball.
Zubac skokna, Zubac fenomenalno odigrano.
So I remember I told his brother, I said, look, people put things on YouTube, so if any coach ever gets interested, you can show something. It was those types of conversations, and I think they took it seriously.
I remember the flight was so long. I was so anxious to get here. Movies, YouTube videos, anything, media. It's crazy how much you see about it, but just to come here, it's a totally different experience.
It'll be a quick, just over 50 minutes down to the Carbondale area. It is an honor to serve you guys today. Wish you the best in your coming game. And
when I grew up in Croatia, I just thought that, oh my God, United States, such a huge country, so much media attention about it, something that you can only dream about. I decided to come to Loyola without ever visiting Loyola in the first place. I just saw some pictures on websites, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, and I just thought it would be the best fit for me. Back home was everything that I knew, and coming here in something different where I need to adapt, I need to learn different things. I played a lot of European basketball. This would be another step up for me, not only with basketball, but also with everything else, and education, living in the United States. It's not just playing basketball, it's just much more than that. It's over.
Flash goes down. The bus has gone into the ditch. We are stuck in the woods. These are my last memoirs before I go away.
Call an Uber, hey.
Mom, Dad, I love you. Conrad, I love you a lot. I'm stuck in the Carbondale woods. We're not going to be living.
Oh.
I have 0 service.
And I heard about Bruno from one of the professors here at school, who's also from Croatia, and he kind of told me about him. We looked it up, and it's a little easier to find kids in video now, but even then it was 5 years ago.
Zagreb,
yeah. Number 4 from Zagreb, Croatia. Bruno Skotna.
That's better.
So it was constantly trying to find people overseas that had some type of, video on them and some type of film that we could watch. And we stayed in touch a lot through WhatsApp, which is kind of the, it's your texting, overseas. So on WhatsApp we stayed in touch. It was kind of like a modern day pen pal. And again, I had never met him. We had talked on the phone. We had text, through WhatsApp quite a bit, but I had never met him. But yeah, it was my first encounter meeting him was when he came off the plane.
Flash picked me up, and he drove me to the campus. I met all of the guys.
Then I showed him the gym, and his eyes lit up. You know, nice. Obviously our gym is you know, beautiful. It jumps at you right when you get on walk through the doors. You know, the video boards, everything. It's a sharp look, and the first thing he wanted to do was like, where's the ball at? He wanted to shoot.
Great eye defense. Flash destroyed me in a shooting contest in the arena. That was my first time experiencing Gentile Arena.
I mean, I wasn't going to let him come into the United States and just thinking he can do whatever he wants here. I had to teach him a little bit, so I beat him in shooting, and he hasn't beat me since.
Obviously, you guys are probably thinking about it, and I've been thinking about it, and where we're going from here. But there is a huge opportunity for growth for us. Huge! What I want you guys to think about is something I've talked to Lucas about, and I've now since talked to Bruno and here about.
Our workouts usually start at the beginning of July, and they end around mid-August. And after that time, we have about 2 or 3 weeks to go back home or just stay in Chicago. But usually all the guys go back home. But for me, it would be too expensive to just go back home for 2 or 3 weeks, so I just stay here.
There's a million things to be happy about. I'm grateful for who's in this room. I'm grateful for my staff. I'm grateful for a lot of things.
I would feel so lonely after 5 o'clock because none of the guys were here, and none of the students were here, because after 5 o'clock, it's midnight over there in Croatia, so I wasn't able to speak to anyone really. Before I would go to sleep, as I would lay down in the bed, I would just look at the ceiling, and I would just think, like, oh, like, why am I doing this? Like, I could be home right now.
Be pissed off you lost, all right? But don't walk around with your head down, feeling sorry for yourselves, listening to outside noise, having anybody else dictate what our season's looking like. You come to this practice, you think, hey, 3 or 4 things why you're grateful to wear that uniform, all right? Gratitude helps you be happy. You understand that?
Like anytime a kid gets to college, you know, there's that natural process of like, all right, you know, I kind of miss home. For him, it's probably to another degree because his home is so far away. Like Krutwig can run home on a weekend and go see his parents. You know, Bruno can't do that. He's got to wait until the end of the semester. He's got to wait till May. You know, if he's homesick in November, he's got to wait, you know, 6, 7 months to get home and see his family.
On any successful journey, there's a lot of rain before the rainbow. A lot of it, all right? But your mindset on how you approach it on that is what's going to help you keep leapfrogging forward.
After those first 3 months when I was super excited about everything in the United States, those last 7 months was just thinking about home. I thought, oh, my friends and family, they're just waiting for me to come back. They're thinking about me every day. And then when I came back home, they moved on. They met different friends. I wasn't their main thing anymore. So that was the moment I realized, okay, like I should focus on myself too and just control what I can control.
If you asked me to pick up at that age and go to Croatia and thrown into that culture and learn a new language, that would be very, very difficult for me. The fact that he's been able to come in, learn a new language, learn a new basketball language, speaks a lot of credit to him.
You know what the table is? Huh?
Yeah, they have 4.
Huh? Will, you working up?
5.
What I felt when I needed help the most, Professor Jukic was there by my side, always. Of course, my parents were there always. My friends were always there for me. But the closest person that I could talk to here was Professor Jukic.
Here's what I always tell my students. Help me help you. Cliche from Jerry Maguire, if you know. I say, if you help me help you, then I can really help you.
He would understand what I'm talking about. He would feel that I'm not well, and he was, is everything okay? Just talk to me, what's going on? Tell me what you think. He never thought that he's wasting his time when he talks to me, and he was interested in what's going on with me. That showed me that he really cared for me.
Bruno came here, his English was pretty good, but he came from a different educational background, and it wasn't as much writing and presentation as here. And I remember his first presentation and his current PowerPoint presentations are night and day. He has made such an intellectual growth. And that's a proof. I mean, if you have a passion for 2 things or 3 things, you can be phenomenal in all of it. There's no, I refuse the idea of you can only be good in one thing. I think you can be a spectacular player and a spectacular student. It's not easy, it's actually very hard, but it's possible.
When you go through those hard moments, then you grow, you get stronger and stronger, and I feel that helped me to become a better person, a stronger person today, more independent person. So I think even though it was hard, I feel like that's something I needed to go through to be someone who I am today.
I told him when he was recruited here, I'm like, of course you're going to come here and do the best you can as a player, but you know, do us proud in classroom. And he has really done that, so I couldn't be happier for that.
The word home is a relative word, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a place where you were born. There were moments where, a lot of moments where I thought that I should have made a different decision. There were moments where I thought, okay, I need to go through all these kind of things. This stuff makes me stronger because I'm not running away from the problems. I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to make it better. Basketball is not just on the court. I'm investing in my life.
It's okay, someday I'm gonna be with you.
After 4 years here, what is your legacy? I mean, what did you do on basketball court, and what did you do in classroom?
He's a kid that will not only get that degree, but he'll do very well with that degree. He's gonna meet as many people as he can. He's gonna do well. He's gonna use that degree to great use, more so than anybody.
What I realized is all of us, we're representations of our past, from your social surroundings, from your friends, brothers, sisters, whatever. I feel like the way I act towards people, the way I represent Loyola basketball team, Loyola academics, the way I represent myself, I think that's the way I brought home here.
It's okay, someday I'm gonna be with you. It's okay, someday I'm gonna be with you. It's okay, someday I'm gonna be with you.
We sometimes joke about horrible music he listens
Before,
to. Yeah,
no,
like,
I'm not. So
like,
before you just got in here, he was playing
he pretends he has this sophisticated music, and then the worst trash that I've ever heard appears. Like,
That's true.
this is awesome. Like, and now I try to look for some, like, really, in my opinion, like a lowest level trash music from that area. And I mentioned a singer. He goes, "Of course I know it."